Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Wa sallallahu ala nabiyyil kareem. The next part of the kalima is, there are two parts of the kalima. First is Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, and the second part is Ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. So I would like to say a few words on the second part of the kalima. I bear witness that Muhammad is the Prophet of God and his servant. This is the second part of the kalima. Now, as God is a discovery, any Iman billah is a discovery. So Iman bil Rasul is also a discovery. When you, after study and after pondering over the whole issue, you realizes that Muhammad was the Prophet of God. You discover that Muhammad was the Prophet of God. Then you are Mu'min bil Rasul. Now, how we can believe that Muhammad was the Prophet of God? I think that the whole life of the Prophet was a miracle. Miracle means you have no option other than to believe the fact that he was a prophet. This is a miracle. Miracle means no one else can perform that kind of miracle. So the life of the Prophet Muhammad is completely a miracle. Everything is a miracle. For example, Prophet of Islam was the only person in history that he was able to maintain his positivity even in negative situations. In his life, there were so many unwanted experiences, so many negative situations. But Prophet was able to maintain his positivity in every situation. It is completely a miracle. We find no person in the history, not a single person, who was able to maintain his positivity in every situation. Not a single person. So this miraculous personality of Muhammad was itself a proof that he was a prophet of God. Although there are some other miracles, and I have compiled two books on this life of the Prophet of Islam, and in these books I have gave so many details. But here I can say that this fact that Prophet was the greatest positive thinker in the history. Dr. Michael Hart has said in his book, The 100, that Muhammad was the only supremely successful man in the history. But I think the greater than this is that Muhammad was the only positive thinker in the history. Only positive thinker in the history. Because his life was not very simple life. He faced all kind of adversity, all kind of atrocity, all kind of persecution. Even people wanted to kill him. So he faced all kind of negative experiences in his life, but he was able to maintain his positivity. You know, there was a battle of Uhud. Battle of Uhud. It was a defensive war by the Islamic side because Meccan people attacked Medina, and then there was Battle of Uhud. So it was completely an aggression, an act of aggression from the Meccan people. So what happened in in this uh, in this war? 70 companions of the Prophet were killed, 70, and Prophet himself was wounded severely, severely. His face was bleeding. They stoned the Prophet without any genuine cause. Prophet was completely peaceful. He was doing his job peacefully. No aggression at all from his side. But they attacked. They began stoning, and he was wounded. His face was bleeding. You know what happened at that time? It is recorded in the history. It's a matter of history. It's not fiction. It's not mythology. It's not mythology. It's not a story. Muhammad was not a character of novel. He was a character of history. So at that time, when his face was bleeding, he was saying, Allahumma de qawmi, فإنهم لا يعلمون. Allahumma de qawmi, فإنهم لا يعلمون. Oh God, forgive these people because they don't know. They don't know that I'm a messenger of God. I am conveying the message I received from God. So they don't know this fact. So they are stoning. The Prophet was saying at that time, when his face was bleeding, Allahumma de qawmi فإنهم لا يعلمون. Oh God, forgive these people. They don't know what they are doing. There's no such character in the whole history. See, it was a miracle that although he faced all kind of negativity, all kind of atrocity, all kind of persecution, but he maintained his positivity. So Muhammad was the greatest positive thinker in the history. So although Dr. Michael Hart sees him a greatest successful man, but I think that more than this is that he was the great positive thinker of the history. This is the proof of his prophethood. So when I say that Muhammadur Rasulullah, I declare by belief, I declare by discovery, I declare by realization. So when you say that Ashhadu anna Muhammadur Rasulullah, it's not simply a lip service. When you say Ashhadu anna Muhammadur Rasulullah, it is not simply a lip service. No, it is an announcement of your inner feeling. It is an announcement of your intellectual finding. It is an announcement of your realization. It is an announcement of your discovery. So this is the beginning of the Iman bil Rasul. When you discover that Muhammad was the Prophet of God, then you enter in this Iman. then you are a believer of Muhammad's prophethood. Then here I would like to go forward to say a few words about two aspects of his life. When you believe, when you announce that Muhammad is the prophet of God, it means that you are accepting him as a guide, as a divine guide. It is simply a, a recitation of some words. When you say that Muhammad Rasulullah, you are not simply reciting some words. No. You are declaring that Muhammad is my guide. I have accepted Muhammad as a divine guide. It's very important. Then there is a very relevant verse in the Quran. لَقَدْ كَانَ لَكُمْ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ. لَقَدْ كَانَ لَكُمْ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ. There is a good example in the life of the Prophet. There is a good example for you. لَقَدْ كَانَ لَكُمْ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ. It means that Prophet is an example for you. Prophet is a model for you. You have to follow the Prophet. You have to imitate Prophet in every aspect of life. So when you say that Muhammad, when you say that Muhammad Rasulullah, you are saying that I have adopted Muhammad as my model, and I will follow his model in every aspect of my life. So after believing Muhammad as prophets, as God's prophet, it becomes compulsory. It becomes obligatory that you have to follow prophet's life. Your thinking, your behavior, your moral principles, everything must be covered by the prophet's guidance. For example, a person came to the Prophet of Islam. He said, "O Prophet, give me a master advice by which I may be able to manage all the affairs of my life." The Prophet replied, "La taghzab, don't be angry." It means that don't be angry even when provoked. So you have to follow this principle. If you accept Muhammad as the prophet of God, you have to accept this principle which is given by the prophet. You know, we are living in a society where every time there are some negative experiences, every time there are some unpleasant situation. So in all that situations, you have to keep yourself on positivity. Positivity means forgiveness, tolerance, patience, peaceful behavior. This is positivity. This is la taghzab. So la taghzab means you have to keep every time in every behavior peaceful method. You have to be peaceful. You have to be tolerant. You have to be honest. You have to be compassionate. So all these things are included in la taghzab. This is Prophet's guidance. So you are not allowed to go against this principle. So when you become angry, it means that you are going against your faith. When you become angry, it means that you are disobeying the Prophet. So Iman bil Rasul means that you have to adopt those principles, those those principles that are enjoined by the Prophet of Islam. So now you have to inquire when you say that Ashhadu anna Muhammad Rasulullah, it is obligatory for you to know what was the guidance of the Prophet of Islam. You cannot ignore. Simply reciting kalima is not enough. Simply reciting kalima is not enough. You have to study. You have to know the life of the Prophet of Islam. You have to learn hadith. You have to read the life of the Prophet of Islam. You have to know all these things about the life of the Prophet. So it is like pledge. When you say that Ashhadu anna Muhammad Rasulullah, you are taking a pledge. You are taking a promise. It is a solemn pledge. So it is first obligatory to know what was the guidance of the Prophet of Islam. For example, the Prophet of Islam has said, Al-Muslimu man salima an-nasu min lisanihi wa yadihi. Muslim is one by whose hands and tongue people are safe. So it is guidance, prophetic guidance. You have to live according to this hadith. You have to live. You have no option. You have to live in your society as a no-problem person, as a harmless person, as a positive person. It becomes obligatory for you. When you say that Muhammad was the Prophet of God, it becomes obligatory for you to follow his commands, to follow his guidance. So it becomes obligatory for you that you have to live as a peaceful member in your society, as a harmless member in your society, as a no-problem person in your society. So this is the meaning of Iman bil Rasul. Iman bil Rasul is not simply a lip service. It is a solemn pledge. It means that you have adopted Muhammad as your guide, a complete guide for your whole life. Then, the Prophet of Islam performed Hajj in his final days. It was near about 2 months before his death. So after performing the Hajj, this is called Hajjatul Wada. In Islamic history, it is called Hajjatul Wada. So after performing Hajj, he addressed those Muslims who were present at that time. We call him companion, Ashab Rasul. So he addressed those Ashab Rasul. And through Ashab Rasul, he addressed all the Ummah. So he said in this sermon, he said, Ayyuhan nas, inna Allah basani kafatal linnas faddu anni. Ayyuhan nas, inna Allah basani kafatal linnas faddu anni. O people, O Muslims, O my followers, God has sent me blessing for all mankind, for all mankind. So convey my message to all human beings. After giving this sermon, he died. After 2 months, he died. And he gave this message for all those who claim that we are followers of Muhammad. So we are among those who are responsible for this injunction. We have to convey this message to all mankind. You know, the companions of the Prophet followed this message completely. They left their homeland and settled in different countries, and they spent their life to spread the message of Islam. And it was result of this effort that there emerged a new world that is called Arab world. Arab world is directly result of this dawah campaign. So it is a continued responsibility. Now, it's not simple. It's not a very simple thing. When Prophet of Islam said that you are responsible to spread this message, he also gave you some other directions. That is, you have to love. You have to love all, because dawah is no person can do dawah work without love, without sympathy, without compassion. So he says that you have to spread this message to all mankind. It is implied that you have to love all mankind. You have to be compassionate to all mankind. You have to be well-wisher to all mankind. Without well-wishing, without being compassionate, without loving, you cannot spread the message of Islam to all mankind. Dawah work is not simply a lip service. It is not simply an announcement. It is not simply a work of loudspeaker. Dawah work is an expression of love. Dawah work is an expression of compassion. Dawah work is an expression of concern. When all mankind becomes your concern, then dawah work begins. Without concern, there is no dawah work. So all these things are included in this message. When the Prophet of Islam has said that after my death, you have to take this responsibility. You have to spread this message to all mankind. So he also said that you have to be compassionate to all mankind. You have to love all mankind. So when one says that Ashhadu anna Muhammad Rasulullah, he is saying all these things. All these things are included in that shahada. In that shahada. Then there is a verse in the Quran, لِيَكُونَ الرَّسُولُ شَهِيدًا عَلَيْكُمْ وَتَكُونُوا شُهَدَاءَ عَلَى النَّاسِ. This is the scheme of God regarding the work. What is the scheme of God regarding the work? This verse shows that scheme. لِيَكُونَ الرَّسُولُ شَهِيدًا عَلَيْكُمْ وَتَكُونُوا شُهَدَاءَ عَلَى النَّاسِ. It means that the Prophet conveyed the guidance received by him from God. So prophet has received that guidance from God, and he conveyed to us this guidance. So this verse says that prophet conveyed this message to you, and you have to convey this message to all mankind. لِيَكُونَ الرَّسُولُ شَهِيدًا عَلَيْكُمْ وَتَكُونُوا شُهَدَاءَ عَلَى النَّاسِ. Prophet conveyed this divine message to you, and you have to convey this divine message to all mankind. This is our work. This is our work. So the work is not simply an announcement. So when we believe, when we say that Ashhadu anna Muhammad Rasulullah, we are saying that we have discovered Muhammad as the Prophet of God. This reflects your conviction. This reflects your conviction, your yaqeen. Then this kalima means that you have determined, you have decided that you will follow the Prophet of God in every aspect of your life, in your speech, in your action, in your intentions, in your behavior, in all your activities. So this kalima enjoins you that you have to follow Prophet's guidance in all walks of your life. Then the same kalima enjoins you to do the work, to make the humanity your concern, to love the humanity. Because without love, without concern, you cannot do the work. So all these things are included in the kalima. All these things are included in the kalima. So when you recite kalima, you have to study the life of the Prophet, the hadith of the Prophet, the sayings of the Prophet, so that you may know that what is prophethood, what is my responsibility towards prophethood, what Prophet has said about my responsibilities. All these things you can know only after study.